Let's talk about software licensing. I know, it can be incredibly complicated, maybe even a little overwhelming. But in this explainer, we're going to change that. We're going to decode the entire DragonSource licensing framework, and my goal is to make it simple, clear, and really easy to understand. I mean, let's be real for a second. Trying to figure out which software license you need can feel like you're trying to solve a puzzle in the dark. You've got walls of legal text, different tiers, all these add-ons. It's a massive headache for pretty much everyone, from individuals to huge companies. But here's the good news. It really doesn't have to be that confusing. Our whole mission here is to slice right through that complexity. We're going to break down the DragonSource framework piece by piece. So by the end of this, you'll know exactly what your options are. So let's dive in. First things first, let's look at the big picture. At its heart, DragonSource runs on a tiered subscription model. You can think of this as the foundation for their entire licensing house. It's built to give different people different levels of access and features, all depending on what they actually need. So where do you start? Well, your very first step is to figure out your license type. Before you even think about features or pricing or anything else, you have to identify which of these three main paths is the right one for you. And that brings us to this one crucial question. You've just got to ask yourself, am I a standard user or a regular business? Am I a government agency? Or am I a technology partner who wants to build DragonSource into my own product? Seriously, your answer to this one question shapes everything that comes next. For most people, the path is going to lead right here, to the subscription license. This is the classic software as a service or SaaS model that you've probably seen 100 times. You're typically paying per user, per seat, but sometimes it can just be a flat rate for your whole organization. Now, the second path is way more specialized. This is the Perpetual license. It's a one-time purchase, and it lets an organization host the software on their own servers. The key thing to remember here is that this is available only for government or B2G customers, nobody else. And that third path, that's the embedded license. Think of this as the engine inside license. It's designed for our tech partners who want to build DragonSource's power directly into their own apps, often under their own brand name. That's what we call a white label solution. Okay, so once you know your license type, the next big decision is picking your tier. This is where you get to match the specific features and the level of service to what your business actually needs to get the job done. DragonSource lays this out as a really clear ladder you can climb. There are 3 tiers: standard, professional, and enterprise. So let's take a quick look at what really separates them. So the jump from standard to professional is really for businesses that need more, peace of mind. The 2 biggest upgrades you get are an SLA guarantee, that's a formal promise about service levels, and you get access to priority support, so your issues get looked at faster. But the leap from professional to enterprise, that is a whole different ballgame. This is for huge operations. Enterprise customers get everything from the other tiers, plus some real game changers, like their own dedicated infrastructure, the power to negotiate custom SLAs, and super important audit rights. And while we're talking tiers, let's talk money, because this chart shows a really smart way to save. If you commit to a multi-year deal, you get a great discount. A 1-year term gets you 17% off. That jumps to 25% for 2 years, and a really nice 35% discount for a 3-year term. Plus, that locks in your price for the whole time. Okay, so you've got your license type, you've picked your tier. Now let's talk about the rules of the road. This is all about what you're allowed to do, and just as importantly, what you're not allowed to do with the software. The good news is what you can do is pretty broad, and it lines up with the license types we talked about. You can use it for your own personal productivity, for your for-profit business, or for government work. And of course, API integration is a huge permitted use for our business and government customers. Now, on the flip side, the restrictions are just as important to know so you can stay in the clear. The license is really strict about this. You can't reverse engineer the code, you can't share your login with other people, and you can't use the platform to spy on your competition. And unless you're an official partner, you absolutely cannot sublicense the software. Now let's zoom in on 2 special groups: partners who want to resell DragonSource and customers who work in regulated fields and need specific compliance paperwork to prove everything is secure. For partners, it all starts with a reseller license. As soon as a partner gets certified, they have the green light to resell subscriptions, handle that first level of support for their own customers, and use all the official DragonSource marketing materials to help them grow. So, what's in it for the partners? Well, the main incentive is financial. The typical margin for an authorized reseller is anywhere from 15 to 30%, which is a pretty significant business opportunity. On the compliance side of things, there are two main add-ons you should know about. The SOC 2 add-on is mostly for B2B clients who need to prove their security and controls are up to snuff. The FedRAMP add-on, that's a much higher level certification, mainly for government customers who have to meet those super stringent federal security rules. All right, we're in the home stretch. Let's wrap this up with a little bit of the fine print. This is about the essential details everyone should know, specifically how licenses are checked and what happens if a license ends.
If a license is terminated, a clock starts ticking. On day one, your access is cut off, period. You then have a 30-day window to get in there and export all of your data. And after 90 days, for security and privacy, all of that data is permanently wiped clean.
You might be wondering, well, how does DragonSource even manage all this? It's not magic. They use a few key tech methods to verify licenses. This includes stuff like JWT token validation and checking API keys for online access, metering usage so people don't go over their limits, and even a physical piece of hardware called a Dragon key for some of the super high security accounts.
And there you have it. From the three main types and three tiers, to the rules, partners, and the fine print, that's the entire DragonSource licensing framework, totally decoded. We've laid out the whole map for you. So the only question left is, which one of these licenses is going to be the key to unlocking your work?